Hello and welcome to BruinBuy Plus training. Let's review how to update approvers and workflow rules. The content of this training video is admin specific and may not apply to most approvers. We have provided this optional video for those users who may want to understand how they are added or removed from a workflow. To perform these tasks, you must have the permissions administration and advanced dynamic workflow. In the System Administration section of the Administration Permissions. With these permissions, you gain visibility to the Setup menu of the application. Navigate to the Workflow Setup section and select the workflow which needs updating. On the Rules Management page, you can select the Search button to view all workflow rules. Or you can use the filter to narrow down the selection. This is advisable if there are many rules for your organization. You can choose which group of rules by using the Rule Group drop-down selector. This brings up only rules for the selected group. Let's review how to read the workflow rule. The first column shows the selected rule group. A rule group contains a number of rules that are grouped together for a similar function. These rules are applied all at the same time. The second column is the name of the rule along with the specific rules. These rules tell the system which documents to stop for approval by the approvers in the third column. In this column we also see the rule description, which can contain helpful information for approvers and administrators. Next, we see the status, which will show if the rule is active or inactive. Then we have our selection checkbox. This is how we can update rules in bulk. We will come back to this. And lastly, our edit link. To update a singular rule, we'll select this link. All of the information from the previous page appears on this screen but is divided into different sections. Rule name, group, description, and status are in this upper left section. We can edit this information if needed by using this edit link. Below we have our rules. The top section of rules, document level rules, are rules which apply to the entirety of the document or the document header. The options in the rule selector are options which can apply only to the whole document. These options include roles, addresses, change request information, account codes, and more. The line level rules will look at each line on the document. These rules can also contain account code information as well as product-specific information, form information, and other line-level flags. And over here is the approver box. This is where we add and remove our rule approvers. Let's use the Add Approver button to select our new approver. You can do an open search by selecting the Search button to see all available approvers, but since you know the approver, it's best to enter some search criteria to narrow down the results. In many cases you should use as few filter terms as possible to avoid system errors. If you misspell a name or enter the wrong information, the system may not find what you are looking for. We are going to replace Alice Approver as an approver with Bonnie Buyer, so let's enter Buyer in the last name box. Then choose Select to add Bonnie Buyer to our selection. You can add additional approvers if needed. But for now, let's just add Bonnie. Now Bonnie's name has been included in our list of approvers. To remove Alice, we'll select the checkbox by Alice's name and use the Remove Selected Approvers button. Go back to your rules list by using the Return to Search Results page link. Now let's look at adding an approver in bulk actions. You cannot remove an approver in bulk, but you can add an approve to rules or move rules to another rule group. To search for a specific approver, we can use one of the approver options, but be sure to set the rule group back to all, or you will only be searching within that rule group. Let's find all rules with Alice Approver. So let's enter Alice in the first name field and add her to our search. Before adding Alice, ensure that you have as many rules as possible to update. The default results per page is 20, although we've already set it to the highest results at 200. You see at the top, there are 58 rules for which Alice is an approver. So, we know that not all Alice's rules would have appeared on the page. To select all rules, select the topmost checkbox. And then use the drop-down option, Add Approver, and select Go. A list of all the rules selected will appear, so give it a quick review to ensure that you want to update all the rules. Then select the Add User button to search for the new approver. Search for Bonnie again and add them to our selection. Now Bonnie Buyer is added to all of the selected rules. You will need to edit each rule if you need to remove Alice. If Alice is no longer in the organization and so is inactive, her name will be in italics. It is not necessary to remove an inactive user from the rule unless you want to. Lastly, you can update approvers in bulk via the Import/Export option. This is best for removing an approver in bulk or updating more than 200 rules. First, navigate to the Rules Import/Export tab. Export the rules by adding a description and select Submit. It may take a minute to export if you have a lot of rules, so let's look at the other options on this page. We can download detailed instructions for importing rules with this Adobe icon. This is recommended especially if this is your first attempt at importing rules. There is a template for adding new rules. Up here you can change the file format, but you will usually be using the tab delimited format. Open your rules by clicking on the link. And in the spreadsheet that opens, you will see all of the rules in the system. You can do Find and Replace actions on the Rule Approver column to make your updates. Once you are complete, you will come back into the system, use the drop-down menu to select Validate, then upload the new rules. Validation will have the system go through the new rules and make sure there are no errors. Once you've done your troubleshooting on any errors you may receive, you can then import your results. This concludes the training on how to update approvers and workflow rules.